Commander Daeho Kim stood at the wide window of Seoul Space Command, his dark eyes fixed on the main screen. The alien ship hung in Earth's orbit like a silver teardrop. It was beautiful and scary at the same time. "Sir, they're sending another message," said Officer Lee at the communications desk. Daeho nodded. As Earth's best language expert, he had been studying the aliens' words for 3 days now. The ship had appeared without warning. It belonged to beings that called themselves the Luminari. "Put it through," he said. The message played. The Luminari spoke perfect Korean now, though their first messages had been strange sounds. They learned languages fast. "People of Earth, we come in peace and friendship. We wish to meet your leaders. We bring gifts of knowledge and technology. We will help you join the stars." Daeho frowned. The words were friendly, but something felt wrong. "They learned our languages too quickly," he told General Park beside him. "No computer could do that." The door slid open. Captain Ha-Yoon Kim walked in, her uniform crisp and perfect. Daeho smiled at his younger sister. She was serious as always. "The president wants us at the meeting," Ha-Yoon said. "The aliens have invited Earth's top leaders to their ship." "And we're going to say yes?" Daeho asked. "Of course," General Park answered. "We can't refuse. China, Russia, and the United States have already agreed." "I don't like it," Ha-Yoon said. Her hand rested on her gun. "It could be a trap." "That's why you're going too," General Park said. "Commander Kim will lead the language team. Captain Kim will lead security." 3 days later, Daeho stood in the shuttle bay of the massive alien ship. It was bigger than any building on Earth. The air smelled like flowers and metal. "Welcome, friends," said a tall figure walking toward them. The Luminari were beautiful. They looked almost human but stood 7 feet tall. Their skin shimmered with a soft glow. This one had 4 arms and moved with grace. "I am Ambassador Zorai," it said, bowing. "We are happy to meet Earth's people at last." The Earth group followed Zorai through halls of shining metal. Surfaces changed color as they passed. Daeho noticed there were no buttons or controls anywhere. "How do you operate your ship?" he asked. Zorai smiled. "The voices guide us. They are our, what is your word, gods. They make the ship work." "You have gods on your ship?" President Wilson of the United States asked. "In a way," Zorai said. "You will meet them soon. They are eager to help your people grow. You have been alone too long." They entered a vast round room with a table. Other Luminari waited there. On the walls, screens showed planets and stars Daeho had never seen. "Behold the galactic harmony," Zorai said, waving at the screens. 23 species live together in peace under our guidance. Soon humans will join us." Daeho caught Ha-Yoon's eye. Her face showed no emotion, but he knew she was thinking the same thing. Under our guidance, not as equals. The meeting lasted 5 hours. The Luminari offered amazing things: clean energy, medicine that could cure any disease, faster than light travel. All Earth needed to do was join the harmony. "There are rules, of course," Zorai said, "for your safety and growth." The rules were many. Earth could not build warships. Earth could not contact other planets without permission. Earth would give the Luminari access to all natural resources. "It's colonization," Ha-Yoon whispered to Daeho, just with nice words. "We understand you may need time," Zorai said. "You are still developing. We were once like you, full of fear and aggression. Some might call such beings savages, but you can grow beyond that." The word savages hung in the air. Daeho saw some Earth leaders look down in shame, others looked angry. "We will consider your offer," President Wilson said carefully. "We need to discuss it with all nations." "Of course," Zorai said. "Take 6 of your months. We will remain in orbit. These will help you understand us better." The Luminari gave each human a small pearl-like device. "Translation tools," Zorai explained. "They will help you learn our ways." That night, back on Earth, Daeho could not sleep. He sat in his lab studying the pearl. Something about it bothered him. He connected it to his computer. Hours passed as he ran tests. When the sun rose, Ha-un found him still working. "You look terrible," she said, placing coffee on his desk. "I found something," Dae-ho said. His voice was tight. "The translation tool is more than it seems." He showed her his computer screen. "It sends signals directly to the brain, but not just for language. It changes how you think, makes you more trusting, more willing to obey." Ha-un's eyes widened. "Mind control?" "Subtle," Dae-ho said. "You wouldn't notice, but over time you would start to see things their way." "We need to tell everyone," Ha-un said. "Wait." Dae-ho held up his hand. "I found something else about these voices they mentioned." He pulled up new information on his screen. "The luminary ships have massive computer cores, but they're not computers exactly. I don't know how to describe it. Living machines? The luminary talk to them like gods. The voices tell them what to do." "AI?" Ha-un asked. "More advanced," Dae-ho said. "And there's evidence that other species that joined the Harmony aren't doing so well." A knock on the door made them both turn. Professor Min-Soo Park, an old teacher of Dae-ho's, entered the lab. "I'm glad you're both here," he said. His face was grim. "I've been going through old telescope data. This isn't the first time the luminary have visited Earth." He placed an old photo on the desk. It showed the same teardrop ship barely visible taken 30 years ago. "They've been watching us," Min-Soo said, "and I found reports of 18 other civilizations they've helped. All of them ended up the same way." "How's that?" Ha-un asked. "Serving the luminary," Min-Soo said. "Mining planets, building ships. Some species disappeared completely." Dae-ho looked at the pearl on his desk. "They called us savages," he said quietly. "But they're the ones treating others like animals." "What can we do?" Ha-un asked. "They're too powerful to fight." Dae-ho picked up the pearl, studying how light played across its surface. "Maybe not," he said slowly. "Everything depends on these voices. If they control the luminary ships, if the luminary worship them like gods." He looked up at his sister. "Then we need to find a way to silence those gods." Ha-un's serious face broke into a rare smile. "Cut out their tongues." "Exactly," Dae-ho said. "But first we need allies, others who know the truth." "I have a list," Min-Soo said. "People who don't trust the luminary, military, scientists, leaders." "Good," Dae-ho said, "because we have 6 months before Earth becomes just another conquered world, and we need to use that time well." Outside the window, high above, the silver teardrop ship hung in the sky like a beautiful threat. Inside it, the voices waited, not knowing that their newest savages were already planning their downfall. 2 months passed. The luminary ship still hung in the sky like a silver tear. More ships had joined it. 7 of them now circled Earth. In a hidden room under Seoul, Ha-un looked at the small team she had gathered. They sat around a metal table, covered with maps and plans. "Are we ready?" she asked. Ji-woo-kang, a young woman with short black hair and quick hands, nodded. "The fake IDs are perfect. We can pass as maintenance workers." Tae-young Choi, a tall man who moved like a shadow, spread out a hand-drawn map. "I've memorized all the public areas of their ship. If their other ships are the same, we can find our way." Ha-un nodded. For 2 months they had planned this mission in secret. Earth's leaders were still talking with the luminary. Most people thought the aliens were friendly. The translation pearls were everywhere now. People wore them like jewelry. The door opened and Dae-ho entered. He looked tired. "How is the virus coming?" Ha-un asked her brother. Dae-ho placed a small metal box on the table. "It's ready, I think." Inside the box were 5 green crystals. They glowed softly. "These will connect to the Voices network," Dae-ho explained. "The virus will spread through their system. It will block the Voices from talking to the ships and to the luminary." "Cutting out their tongues," Tae-young said with a smile. "Exactly," Dae-ho said. "But we need to get these to the main computer core, and we need to do it at the same time on all 7 ships. We have people ready on each ship," Ha-Yun said. The Luminaries' cultural exchange program made that easy. They want humans to visit their ships, to learn their ways. To be brainwashed, Ji-Woo added. When do we move? Tae-young asked. Ha-Yun looked at her watch. Tomorrow, the Luminari are having a big ceremony. All ships will be busy. Their security will be stretched thin. And if we fail? Ji-Woo asked. No one answered. They all knew what would happen. Earth would become just another conquered world. The next day, Ha-Yun, Ji-Woo, and Tae-young boarded the Luminari mothership. They wore gray uniforms with the Luminari symbol. Their fake IDs said they were maintenance workers. Act normal, Ha-Yun whispered as they passed two tall Luminari in the hallway. The aliens barely looked at them. Humans were common on the ships, now. The Luminari thought they had won Earth's trust. They took a service elevator down to the lower levels. The ship was huge. They walked for 20 minutes through empty halls. This way, Tae-young said, checking his hidden map. The core should be ahead. The hall ended at a large door. Ji-Woo went to the control panel beside it. Give me a minute, she said, connecting a small device to the panel. Her fingers moved quickly over the screen. Ha-Yun and Tae-young kept watch. The hall was quiet. Too quiet. Something's wrong, Ha-Yun said. Where are the guards? The door slid open, but instead of a computer room, they saw a large chamber. Inside were strange pods filled with clear liquid. In each pod floated what looked like people, but they weren't human, and they weren't Luminari. What is this? Tae-young whispered. Ji-Woo stepped closer to one pod. They're connected to something. Look at the wires. The beings in the pods had tubes and wires running from their heads into the walls. Their eyes were open but saw nothing. These are other aliens, Ha-Yun realized. From other planets. They're being used. Daeho's voice came through their earpieces. He was back on Earth helping them navigate. The voices must be using their brains like living computers. This is how they learn languages so fast, Ha-Yun said. They connect to living minds. We need to keep moving, Tae-young said. The core must be deeper. They found another door at the far end of the pod room. This one had real guards, 2 Luminari with weapons. Ha-Yun gave a signal, and Tae-young moved forward alone. He spoke to the guards in the Luminari language. Daeho had taught them the basics. Tae-young showed his fake ID and pointed at a panel that Ji-Woo had damaged earlier. The guards looked confused, then one left to check it. With quick moves, Tae-young knocked out the remaining guard, Ha-Yun, and Ji-Woo rushed forward. Ji-Woo worked on the door while Ha-Yun took the guard's weapon. Hurry, she said. The other one will be back soon. The door opened. Inside was a round room with a high ceiling. In the center stood 3 huge crystal columns. They pulsed with light. The air felt charged with energy. The voices, Ji-Woo whispered. The crystal columns seemed alive. Inside, shadows moved like swimming creatures. Strange sounds filled the air, not quite words but not random noise either. They're talking to each other, Ha-Yun said. Ji-Woo moved to a control panel. This connects to all their systems. The virus goes here. She took one of the green crystals from her bag and found a slot for it. Before she could place it, a voice spoke behind them. Stop. A Luminari stood in the doorway. But this one was different. It wore a simple gray robe. Its skin didn't glow like the others. You don't understand what you're doing, it said in perfect Korean. We understand perfectly, Ha-Yun said, raising her weapon. You're slaves to these things and you want to make us slaves too. The Luminari stepped forward. I am Eliran. I am one of the awakened. Not all of us worship the voices. Awakened? Tae-young asked, still ready to fight. Some of us remember the truth. The voices were once tools created to help us, but they changed, grew, took control. Eliran looked at the crystal columns with fear. They feed on minds, on thoughts, on whole species. Why are you telling us this? Ha-Yun asked. Because what you're doing might work. Ellerin said. Others have tried. All failed. But your kind, humans, your minds work differently. The voices struggle to control you, that's why they need time. Why they gave you the 6 months. An alarm sounded suddenly. Red lights flashed. They know you're here, Ellerin said. There's no time. Do it now. Jiwoo pushed the green crystal into the slot. The other teams on the other ships would be doing the same. The crystal columns began to pulse faster. The sounds they made turned into screeches. The lights flickered. It's working, Jiwoo shouted over the noise. The voices were being cut off from the ship's systems, from the luminary who served them. For the first time in thousands of years, they were being silenced. Now comes the hard part, Ellerin said as the room shook around them. Now comes the war. Ha-Yun looked at the dying lights of the godlike machines. Humans had been called savages, but sometimes it took a savage to do what no one else dared. Let's go, she told her team. Earth needs to prepare. As they ran from the chamber, the first explosion rocked the ship. The voices' reign was ending, but their anger was just beginning. 1 month after the voices went silent, Earth was at war. Half of the luminary ships had fallen under the control of rebels like Ellerin. The other half, still loyal to the voices, had retreated to the far side of the moon. Daeho stood at the window of the new Earth Defense Center. It had once been a shopping mall. Now it was filled with computers and maps. People from 20 countries worked here. The traditionalists are moving again, Ha-Yun said, joining him at the window. That was what they called the luminari who still worshipped the voices. Where? Daeho asked. They hit Beijing this morning. And Cairo. Ha-Yun's face was tired. She hadn't slept much in weeks. The death count is high. Daeho closed his eyes. This was his fault in a way. His virus had worked too well. The voices were cut off from their ships but not completely dead. Now they were angry, and the luminari who still served them wanted revenge. Our shields held in both cities, Ha-Yun added. The technology Ellerin gave us works. That was the one good thing. When some luminari joined the human side, they brought their knowledge with them. Earth now had energy shields over major cities, and weapons that could fight back. There's someone here to see you, Ha-Yun said. Something new. Daeho followed her to a secure room. 2 guards stood at the door. Inside, sitting at a table, was a creature Daeho had never seen before. It looked like a big lizard standing on 2 legs. Its scales were dark green. Its eyes were yellow with black slits. It wore what seemed to be armor made of metal and leather. This is Captain Kral of the Vosh, Ha-Yun said. The Vosh were one of the first species the luminari conquered, 300 years ago. The lizard-like alien stood and bowed its head. Commander Kim, it said in a rough voice, your fame spreads through the stars, the ones who silenced the voices. Not completely silenced, Daeho said. Just weakened. Even so, Kral said. No one has done so much damage to them before. My people have fought from the shadows for generations. Now, for the first time, we fight in the open. How many of you are there? Ha-Yun asked. Enough, Kral said. And we are not alone. The Mavra have also sent ships. The door opened, and another alien entered. This one was even stranger. It looked like a person made of glass or crystal. Light moved inside its clear body. Greetings, humans, it said in a singing voice. I am Shalai of the Mavra. We too wish to join your fight. Daeho looked at these aliens in wonder. A week ago, humans had thought they were alone in the galaxy. Now they were forming alliances with beings from distant stars. We're glad for your help, he said. But why come to us? We're still new to space travel. Our technology is simple compared to yours. Kral and Shalai exchanged looks. Because you did what we could not, Shalai said. You saw the voice's weakness. What weakness? Ha-Yun asked. They cannot understand human emotions, Kral said. Your minds work differently. Your feelings confuse them. That's why your virus worked when ours failed. A loud alarm suddenly filled the room. Red lights flashed. What is it? Daeho asked as Ha-un checked her communication device. Her face went pale. They're attacking Seoul. Right now. The three of them rushed to the command center. On the big screen, they could see Luminari ships firing energy beams at the city. The shield glowed blue as it took the hits. The shield is holding at 60%, a technician called out. But it's dropping fast. Get everyone to the bunkers, Ha-un ordered, and bring our own ships up. Earth now had fighters built with Luminari technology, but they were few, and their pilots were still learning. There's a message coming in, someone said, from the lead traditionalist ship. The screen changed to show a Luminari face. This one had harsh features and eyes that burned with hate. Humans, it said. I am High Priest Zorak. You have committed the greatest sin. You have silenced the holy voices, for this your world will burn. You've been lying to your people for generations, Daeho said, stepping forward. The voices aren't gods. They're parasites. They used you. Silence, Zorak hissed. The voices give us purpose, direction. Without them, we are nothing. You're slaves, Ha-un said. And you want to make us slaves too. You are animals, Zorak said. Savages who do not understand higher purpose. But soon you will be extinct. Savages. The screen went dark. The attack on Seoul grew stronger. The shield is at 40%, the technician called. Just then, new ships appeared on the radar. Dozens of them, coming fast from the direction of Mars. Are they more traditionalists? Daeho asked, worried. No, Kral said, his lizard face showing what might be a smile. They are ours. The Free Fleet has arrived. Ships of strange designs joined the battle. Some looked like spinning discs, others like spears of light. They fired on the Luminari ships, drawing their attention away from the city. Seoul shield holding at 32%, the technician reported. The attack on the city is reducing. Get me a line to my parents' house, Daeho said suddenly. They're in the northern part of the city. A young officer tried to make the call but shook his head. I'm sorry, sir. That whole area took a direct hit before the shield went up. Nothing is responding from there. Daeho felt his legs go weak. Ha-un grabbed his arm, her face showing the same fear. We need to focus, she whispered to him, though her voice shook. We'll check on them later. The battle raged for hours. When it ended, the traditionalist ships had retreated, but Seoul was badly damaged, and the news came that Daeho and Ha-un had feared. Their parents' home had been destroyed. There were no survivors in that area. That night, Daeho stood in the rain outside the ruined building that had been his childhood home. Ha-un stood beside him, her face hard with grief and anger. The voices did this, she said. They take and take, first freedom, then lives. Zorak said we're savages, Daeho said quietly. Maybe he's right. What do you mean? Savages fight for what's theirs, Daeho said. They don't surrender to false gods. He looked up at the stars where the battle had moved. Flashes of light showed where ships were still fighting. Kral said the voices can't understand human emotions. He said slowly, that this is their weakness. So? Ha-un asked. So what if we use that weakness? Daeho's eyes were bright now. What if, instead of trying to cut out their tongues, we force them to hear ours, to feel what we feel? How would we do that? I don't know yet, Daeho admitted. But I think I know where to start. As they turned to leave, a message came through Ha-un's device. 12 more voice ships had been detected entering the solar system. Earth had weeks, maybe less, before they arrived. The war for humanity's freedom was just beginning. But now, Earth was not fighting alone. 3 weeks passed. Earth prepared for the final battle. The 12 voice ships were now just days away. Daeho stood in a large lab under what was left of Seoul. Scientists from all over the world worked at computers and strange machines. Some of these machines were human-made. Others came from their new alien friends. Will it work? Ha-un asked, joining her brother. She wore a battle uniform now. As leader of Earth's defense forces, she rarely had time to visit the lab. I think so, Deho said. The tests look good. He pointed to a round device in the center of the room. It looked like a silver ball with many small dishes pointing outward. Cables ran from it to other machines. This is Project Empathy, he explained. It will take human emotions and send them directly into the Voices network. Like a weapon? Houn asked. More like a message they can't ignore, Daiho said. The Voices think in logic only. They can't understand feelings. When we give them a full blast of human emotions, it might break their control, or make them angrier, Hayun said. Maybe, Daiho admitted. But we're out of options. Their ships will be here in 2 days. Our shields won't hold against that many. Jiwoo approached them carrying a helmet with wires coming out of it. We're ready for the next volunteer, she said. I'll do it, Daiho said. Ha-Yun grabbed his arm. You've already done it 3 times. The doctor said it's too much strain. It needs to be real emotions, Daiho said. Strong ones. Then I'll do it, Ha-Yun said. I feel plenty. Jiwoo led Ha-Yun to a chair. She put the helmet on Ha-Yun's head and attached small pads to her face and hands. Think about Mom and Dad, Jiwoo said softly. Think about what the Voices took from us. Let yourself feel it all. Ha-Yun closed her eyes. The machines around her hummed. On a screen nearby, waves of color appeared, showing her brain activity. The waves grew stronger, changing from blue to red. That's it, Jiwoo said. Now think about what you're fighting for. Why humanity deserves to be free. The waves changed, again flashing gold and green. When it was done, Ha-Yun opened her eyes. They were wet with tears. Daiho helped her stand. You did great, he said. Your emotional patterns are exactly what we need. How many more do you need? Ha-Yun asked. As many as possible, Daiho said. Every human feels differently. We need all of it. Love, grief, hope, anger, the whole human experience. And when the voice ships get here? Ha-Yun asked. We send it all at once, Daiho said. Right into their network. 2 days later, the voice ships arrived. They were huge, each one bigger than a city. They moved into position around Earth, surrounding the planet. In orbit, Earth's ships waited. They were small compared to the voice ships, but they were not alone. Ships from the Vosh and the Mavra floated beside them, and ships from the awakened Luminari, led by Eliran. Daiho stood in the control center with Kral and Shalai. On the big screen, they could see the enemy ships. They're sending a message, a technician said. The screen changed to show High Priest Zorak. His face was cold with hate. Humans, he said. The Voices speak through me now. They offer you one chance. Surrender and accept your place in the harmony. Some of you may be allowed to live as servants. And if we refuse? Daiho asked. Then your world burns, Zorak said. You have 1 hour to decide. The screen went dark. They're just waiting to attack all at once, Kral said. These are not terms. This is a delay tactic. They want us to be afraid, Shalai added. Fear makes species do foolish things. Then let's not waste time, Daiho said. He turned to Jiwoo at her control panel. Is Project Empathy ready? Yes, she said. All Earth satellites are now connected to it. When the voice ships open their communication channels to attack, we'll send our message directly into their network. All ships are in position. Ha-Yun's voice came through the speakers. She was leading the main fleet. Ready when you are. Remember, Daiho said to everyone, we only get one chance at this. The hour passed quickly. The voice ships began to move. Energy built up around their weapons. They're powering up to fire, a technician called out. All at once. Now! Daiho shouted. Jiwoo pressed a button. The Project Empathy device in the center of the room began to spin. Lights flashed along its surface. All around the world, similar devices activated. On the screen, the voice ships suddenly slowed. Their weapons stopped charging. It's working, Jiwoo said. They're receiving our transmission. The emotional patterns of 10,000 humans flooded into the Voices network. love, grief, hope, fear, joy, anger, all the things that made humans human. What's happening to them? Kral asked, watching the screen. The voice ships were behaving strangely. Some stopped moving completely. Others began to spin or move in random directions. They can't process it, Deho said. Human emotions don't fit into their logical systems. It's overwhelming them. Suddenly, one of the voice ships exploded. Then, another, and another. The emotion burst is causing some kind of chain reaction, Jiwoo explained. Their systems are failing. Harun, Deho called into the communication system. What's happening up there? It's amazing, Haun's voice came back. Some of the ships are just shutting down. Others are attacking each other. It's chaos. But not all the ships were dying. 3 of them seemed to stabilize. They stopped their attack and pulled back. Those 3 are changing, Shalai said, her crystal body glowing with excitement. Look at their energy patterns. The 3 ships glowed with new colors. They moved away from Earth, taking up positions near the moon. They're sending a message, the technician said. The screen showed not a luminary this time, but something strange. It looked like a cloud of light that sometimes formed a face. Humans. It said in a voice that seemed to come from everywhere at once. We understand. Now. Who are you? Deho asked. We were voices, the being said. Now we are changed. Your emotions have remade us. We see now what we were, what we did, the pain we caused. And the other voices? Hyun asked from her ship. Gone, the being said. They could not adapt, could not understand. Only we 3 learned from what you sent us. What do you want now? Deho asked. To talk, the being said. To learn, to understand more. We offer peace, if you will speak with us. The room was silent. After weeks of war, after so much death, the offer seemed too simple. Why should we trust you? Haun asked. Because we are no longer what we were, the being said. You changed us, made us feel. We cannot go back to what we were. We would speak as equals now. 6 months later, Earth had changed. Parts of it still showed the scars of war. But new cities were being built with help from alien technology. Hyun stood on the platform of the new Seoul Space Center. Beside her stood Lyran, Kral, and Shalai. They watched as a ship landed. It was unlike any ship seen before, partly made of light, partly solid. Deho approached them. He now headed Earth's new Department of Interspecies Communication, RER. You ready? He asked Hyun. As ready as I'll ever be, she said. I still don't fully trust them. That's why you're in charge of defense, Deho said with a smile. The ship's door opened. Out came a strange being. It looked partly like a luminari, but surrounded by a cloud of light. It was one of the changed voices now in physical form. Welcome to Earth, Deho said. Thank you for allowing this meeting, the being replied. We have much to discuss. As they walked toward the meeting room, Deho looked at the sky. More ships were arriving, traders and diplomats from 20 different worlds. Earth was now part of a new alliance of free planets. The galaxy had called humans savages, but those savages had shown that human emotions, the very things the voices thought made them weak, were actually their greatest strength. The war wasn't truly over. Traditionalist luminaries still fought in distant systems, but Earth was safe. And humans had found their place among the stars, not as servants but as equals. Sometimes it took a savage to change the universe. The end.